Hey folks, welcome back to Busy Girl Likes to Eat, in which I try to investigate 3 things from recipes on the internet. 1, can it be made in the average kitchen? So many of these things ask for garlic presses and things that hey, I don't have, and I bet you don't have either unless you got it as a gift for a wedding present or whatever. 2, can it be shortcut at all? Trouble cooking is that it takes a long time because it asks you to do things like minced garlic, forgetting that you can just buy minced garlic in a can. And 3, will it be delicious after you take all this time? What is more soul crushing than hey, this wasn't yummy? If this is your first time joining us, I'm a busy girl, I like to eat, and I genuinely like to cook. Trouble is that I'm busy. Sometimes I'll go to the internet just to find a new recipe, a new way to cook chicken or some other new fun recipe, and I'll get started cooking it, and suddenly I'll realize that the 30 to 45 minutes it promised to cook is actually a solid 90 minutes because they forget that I need to actually chop this onion. So I figured, why don't I have you guys come with me as I scour the food universe of the internet, check out some recipes, see if you can actually make them in an average apartment kitchen, or see if I can have the Pinterest fail before you do. So today we are going to make slow cooker basil chicken in coconut curry sauce from the Food Charlatan. First ingredient was 6 bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, skin removed asterisk. Okay, no. So you know what you can do? You can buy chicken thighs that are skinless already. Now mind you, if you buy chicken thighs that are skinless already, they probably have the bone out of it. I'm fine with that because you're gonna take the bone out of it when you eat it. So let's just shortcut that. Now there'll be people in the world who are hey, you leave the bone in because of flavor or whatever. We're not doing all that. That's what I say. It's this busy girl likes to eat. I don't have it's time to sit here and play with bones when they will sell them to me skinless and boneless. A red onion. Now, if you've seen our first 2 episodes, you know that I am genuinely, thoroughly against chopping my own onion when the nice people in the grocery store will chop them for me, put them in a bag, let me give them $2 to do it. I'm a little bit of a stickler for the exact ingredient, which is probably something that I should get over, but since we're tossing this in a crock pot, all those seasonings and flavors all cooked together, I figured it mattered to get the right one. Now, if they had chopped red onion, that's what I would have bought. We discovered last week that a teaspoon of minced garlic is equivalent to a clove. Ta-da, no mincing. And then I just discovered this. This is stir-in ginger paste. Okay, so here's the thing. So this thing asks for, what is this? It's fresh ginger grated or minced, who cares? But I was at the store and I discovered ginger paste. So we're gonna use this today. I'm pretty excited about it. A half a cup of fresh cilantro. I didn't buy the cilantro. It's just gonna end up being garnished to make it look pretty. Nobody needs that. You know why? Because you buy fresh cilantro and then you've got a whole bunch of it and it goes bad in your refrigerator. Last week, you remember I had that parsley? Yeah, it's still in there. It's probably turning into a troll doll right now. It's bad. So that's where we're at. So let's get started with some prep. What I like to try to do, and if you saw episode 1, you saw me do this. If you saw episode 2, I didn't. I like to try, I don't always succeed, is to go ahead and prep the stuff. This is always the things. You watch those cooking shows, they never show the prep, or they show 8 seconds of it and it's ta-da! Or what they'll do is they'll start cutting. It's oh, but my assistant has already, no. Like I said, my house, my kitchen, I have to do the cutting. Okay, so a long time ago, I tried to make a chili verde or something, and was not paying attention. Bam! Right, and it was horrible. It was miserable. It was bad. So jalapenos now scare me for that reason. Let's get the seeds out. I learned from doing this to myself as I was on the internet, save yourself, touch your face with jalapeno fingers, that what makes it all burny is capsaicin. And so other peppers that aren't actually like a green pepper, orange pepper that aren't burny, don't have capsaicin. Isn't that fun? Fun facts. Jalapenos finely chopped. I don't actually have a preference over the size. I just have a preference over, how long I want to spend chopping, to be completely honest with you. Chopping is exhausting, so And now if you don't like spice but you appreciate the color, do a green bell pepper, do a red bell pepper. I personally like some spice, so I'm gonna leave it in, and you know, once it's cooking, I'll probably taste it just to see what the spice level looks like. I might throw some extra something or other, chili powder or something out there in there. But we shall see. There we go. Chopped jalapeno pepper. Okay, so here we go. Again, in the name of not touching myself accidentally, I'm going to wash my hands thoroughly right now, because don't test me on this, okay? If you touch yourself with jalapeno fingers, life is bad. We have the onion. If you have watched our first 2 episodes, you know how much I hate cutting onions. In our first episode, it was a tip around one thing to avoid having to cry with onions is to light a candle. So we have a handy dandy candle, but let's see what my good friend Google, you know I love her, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, has to say about, let's see, cut onions, freeze the onion, soak the onion in cold water. Okay. Use a super sharp knife. How would that change anything? How is using a super sharp knife gonna change anything about anything? That doesn't make sense. Microwave the onion. Have any of you done this? Has anyone microwaved an onion, not cried it? This is my favorite. Keep a piece of bread in your mouth. Wear goggles. You're not trying. Those are some other tips. So if this candle situation doesn't work, we're gonna try one. We're definitely not gonna try the goggle situation because I don't have goggles. So let's light a candle and see if we were right on episode 1. So let's get all of the gunk off the onion, skin, and all of that. You know, onions are one of those things that I don't actually understand why we still eat them. I mean, I'm gonna put them in this recipe, but I would think after, early man was hey, this thing is messing with my eyes and I need those to see, so I'm gonna not breed those anymore. I don't know. All right, I'm already like feeling a little uncomfortable, but not thoroughly uncomfortable. My eyes don't itch. There's my eyes. But what I did do is the thing was like keep the cut side towards the thing, towards the cutting board. I did that, and that it didn't start bothering me until I started putting it into the thing. That's why we don't cut our own onions, guys. All right, let's try to get this. That's fine. Sacrificial onion. Onion on the floor. Onion on the floor. That's not gonna be a theme of me getting things on the floor. That's the thing. So like, you know, you watch your favorite cooking shows, nobody spills anything. You know why? Because they're not in an apartment kitchen. They're not in a real kitchen. They're in their like industrial, like whole on like set kitchen. We are in my house. And I'm gonna just move these away from me because I'm uncomfortable. I think the candle actually helped a little bit. I think it probably would have helped more if I had it closer, like I had it over here. If I have to cut my own onions again, I'll put it like super close so like those aromas and stuff get to me before the onion does. So partially proven. We'll try it again. Well, we probably won't try it again. Like to the extent that I can help it, I'm never cutting an onion again. Grocery store, never let me down again. Alright guys, we're going to start the prep, but I'm already just like a little annoyed. So what I love about slow cooker recipes is you put the stuff in the slow cooker, you leave, you come home, there's food. This recipe wants me to do some things before that happens, and I am just questioning whether or not I need to do them. That said, if I could have just thrown it into the crock pot, we probably wouldn't have had a show, which is probably why my producer chooses the recipes. So like, the other thing about this recipe that's weird is that it said like 6 chicken thighs, 2.5 pounds. Chicken thighs, they're tiny, tiny little guys. So it doesn't make sense to me. So like I ended up just like buying like a 2-pound bag of the frozen ones. So maybe where you live, your chicken thighs are like, boom, so big. You have thunder chicken thighs in your grocery freezer. But that's not where I live. My chicken thighs are tiny, probably because I'm in Los Angeles. Everything, even the meat has weight standards. It's probably what's going on. Let's flip these guys over since I'm just supposed to brown them. Okay, so fun cooking fact. So I love my bamboo cutting board. I love it because it's pretty. That's why I love it. But I don't like to use a bamboo cutting board for meat because like it gets groovy and stuff, right? Meat, you know, chicken, salmonella, all that other stuff. So I'll typically use a plastic cutting board if I'm using, if I'm doing anything with meat, just because the plastic cutting board, you can throw it in your dishwasher, clean it, disinfect it or whatever, versus like this guy, it needs to be hand washed and, you know, could have residual stuff on it. I'm not gonna season this like a ton because we're gonna put like the curry and the chili powder and stuff, but I am gonna add just like a poultry seasoning, just to like give the chicken some of its own flavor before it goes in the pot. I'm just picking up stuff that I like. So I like paprika. Also sometimes like I'll add spices because like I'll buy a spice for like one recipe and then never use it. So like I have onion powder in here. I've used it once. And so sometimes I'm like, oh, let's add this spice to this because I have an entirely full jar of it. I probably should have checked the expiration date on this before I Let's see. Oh, Best by December 2021. This is fine. Aside from it looking pretty, I don't know why we did this. Now we are finally ready to do what I wanted to do the whole time, which is just put everything in the crock pot. Quick fun fact. So I was just realizing as I was putting this on the plate, like I could have probably just used a chicken breast, which I have a ton of in my refrigerator and did not have to go buy. So if you want to be really busy about it, you can just use chicken breast. I mean, the only real difference, at least as the internet is telling me, is that chicken thighs are brown meat, chicken breasts are white meat. If you have a preference, I don't know. I like all the chicken. Let's see, what does the recipe say? It should just be dump the stuff in there. I don't know if you necessarily have to put everything in the order in which you have it. I just like to. Basil's a spice that I always have in my house, like all the time. I love basil. And I assume I always have it, and I do, and I assume I always have enough, and I don't. When you're at home going, do I have all the ingredients? You should probably check to make sure you have all of the enough of the ingredients. I have like a half teaspoon of basil here, so we're gonna consult my homegrown Google. Ooh, marjoram, or oregano or thyme. I have both of those, but I'm gonna use the thyme because I never use the thyme. This, instead of being basil chicken, this will be basil thyme chicken. So if this is like super gross, this is not the fault of the recipe author. It's the fault of me not checking how much of what ingredients I have in my house. I will just do like a little bit of salt. Because like the thing about salt is you can always add it in after it's done. And because I've seasoned this chicken already, I'm gonna put some other seasonings on there. I'm not super concerned about bringing out the natural flavor of the chicken, but mind you, midway through this being cooked, I'll taste it, I'll see if it's good, and then I can add more salt or not. If you guys have watched the previous episodes, you know there's always a song on my heart. And right now I have like a beat, it goes da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Da 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 da. It doesn't have words yet, but we'll figure it out though. 3/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder. We're just gonna put a whole one in there because I like chili powder. Again, do what you like. And let's see, and so we're gonna add these onions and the jalapeno and the chicken. All right, put our friend the chicken in here. I'm moving slow because like there's like chicken juice. Boom, boom, chicken. That's the song. Chicken, 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 chicken. Ready to be cooked. So we're gonna go ahead and set this. In general, like I prefer to cook things on low, but I have places to be today, and I just don't feel like waiting 6 hours for food. So I'm gonna cook it on high, but I'm gonna do it for 4. I think every crock pot is different. Like mine tends to cook a little fast, so I'm just gonna do it on 4. Experiment with yours, see how that goes. Oh, son of a biscuit. Guys, we're on like step 10, there are 17. All right, so when we come back, this will be done, and this recipe is gonna ask me to do more things. Shred the chicken, removing the bones and any tough bits. It should be falling apart. This is why I bought the boneless skinless turkey thighs, chicken thighs, whoops. They're all the same bird. Well, they're not all the same bird, but they're both birds. Anyway, this is why I bought the boneless, skinless ones, okay? Because they want me to do all this mess. You know what I can do instead? I can shred it in here. Ginger to the slow cooker. Okay, so I'm really excited about this. It's ginger paste. It's a teaspoon of fresh ginger. Do you know how big a ginger root is? It's enormous, and again, would be going bad in my refrigerator if I had it. So we're gonna experiment with my new ginger paste. I don't know if this is gonna be any good or not. Ginger paste. I hope wherever you are, you can buy ginger paste. Okay, I've done this before. So we're gonna go ahead and I guess thicken the stuff. This is all of my cornstarch. Cornstarch is like another one of those things, but this is actually enough, unlike the basil situation. But cornstarch is like another one of those things, like once you have some, like you have enough for a year. Stir it until it's not lumpy. But the thing is that like, I don't know about you, but my cornstarch never actually gets lumpy. It's more of just like, it ends up like stuck to the sides or to the bottom, like right now. So I would say if you make this, stir it until the cornstarch is dissolved, not lumpy, because that's like, if it was flour, it'd get lumpy. It's already kind of shredding, so really what I can just do is just get a hold of a piece of chicken and just shred it in the pot. The first time I was cooking a recipe and it said shredded chicken. I was like, how do you shred a chicken? Because I went to the grocery store, they didn't just have shredded chicken. That's not what exists. Or if they did, it was already seasoned. I had to like Google a video to be like, how do you shred a chicken? We'll use this piece, it's fine. So, this one's already kind of shredded like I was saying, but just get one fork, another fork, and just dive in there. See? It shreds. Looks like just like how they do it at restaurants. Well, how it looks like when it's on your plate at restaurants. So I'm just doing the same thing here. It's almost easier to do it in the pot because it's still getting all those yummy juices. All right. You gotta restart. All right. So you're gonna re-add this cornstarch, and this is just probably included as a thickening agent, make it a little bit thicker. I'm gonna give it a good stir. Now, the recipe says for me to cook it for an additional 10 minutes. I'm gonna like let it be for like 5. Alrighty folks, we have a finished product. I did do a few things that you missed. I am a huge advocate of tasting it before you serve it so that you can make some changes. So I added some seasoned salt, some cumin, and some garlic powder just because I wanted a little bit more flavor. I add what you want. It's your house, it's your food, do what you want to do. But don't be afraid to go off book. Since we had a full-on 4 hours to wait for food to get done, just made some jasmine rice. Let's see if all of those extra steps that we'd had to take has been worth it. It's pretty good. I intentionally didn't add a lot of salt to begin with because, you know, I don't want to be heavy-handed with it. But aside from that, it's pretty good. Eating this right now, I feel like it would have tasted the same if I had just thrown those chicken thighs in here and not pre-cooked it or browned it. All right, so in regard to the 3 questions that I seek to answer is, can you make it in an average apartment kitchen? Yes. Can you shortcut it? Oh, hell yes. Buy minced garlic, already minced. Get the boneless, skinless chicken thighs for this. Like, don't go through the trouble of like getting all the, you don't need to do that. Like, it's ridiculous. And I definitely would not again brown it before putting it into the crock pot. Is it delicious? I would say it's pretty good. I added some other spices to it just to give it like a little bit more of a bang, if you will. I wouldn't necessarily say it's curry. I would rename this thing like a stew. So if you're looking for like, ooh, curry, I'm not seeing that. Thanks for joining us today. Again, if you want to try the recipe, it is in the description. Have any thoughts, questions, comments, recipes that you'd like me to try? Feel free to leave a message in the comments or send us a note on social. We are Busy Girl LTE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also busygirllte@gmail.com. All right, folks, have a good night.